Hi there. They call me the governor, and we're here to talk about fear, but I think there was some kind of explosion, and a couple of our people are missing. So we're going to get started anyway because we like to start on time. Hopefully, somebody will show up. I hear Machond was in some kind of bunker with Alicia, and now it's empty. Jack might have been caught in an explosion. So I'm the governor. I'm joined by the lovely Jaz. Jaz, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jaz. I got into the Walking Dead fandom fairly in the mid of four. Obviously, I fell in love with it right away. Brought me over to Fear the Walking Dead, and yeah, that's just me in a nutshell, I guess.
Well, glad to have you. And
Thank you.
yeah, the other two, like I said, I think Jack is going to be unable to join us, but Michonne, who knows where she is? If people in the chat would like to make a pool and a betting pool to see if she actually shows up, feel free to do that. I'm not going to organize it. I think I'm like legally obliged to not take part because I could like banner and win if I wanted to. So I'm not going to do that. But they call me the governor, and I am a Walking Dead reactor. I've been watching Walking Dead since pretty early on, though I'm going to tell the story of how this governor came to be since we have some time. Hi, Cleo's in the chat. Devin, Phyllis, Karina.
Thanks for joining, you guys.
Thanks for coming by. So here's the quick story. I watched The Walking Dead season 1. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I started season 2. And I gotta say, the beginning of season 2 was rather slow. And I'm like, this is the same thing over and over again. And had made a promise to myself after Heroes that I wasn't going to stick with the show just because I liked the first season. If it started to suck, I would jump ship. So I jumped ship with Walking Dead, I admit it. Then I was at a con, dressed as Captain Jack Harkness, and someone came up to me and said, "You're a good Jack, but have you ever thought about cosplaying the governor?" And I said, "Who the fuck is that?" And they said, "Oh, he's in The Walking Dead." I said, "Well, I stopped watching after season 1. They said, "Oh, he's in season 3. So I'm like, fine, I'll look him up. So I had to go through season 2. I don't like to skip things. So I watched all of season 2. I got through it. It got better. And then I watched season 3. And the minute David walked on that screen, and, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I could see it. And I got an eye patch and a vest and all this other stuff. And the governor, as you see him here, was born. So that is
Now,
the
correct me if
story.
I'm wrong. Somebody said that you could be his brother.
I actually call him my brother from another mother. He calls me his doppelganger. I have been mistaken for him. I have gained a little bit of weight, so I'm not as mistaken for him as I used to be. But when I was a little thinner, yeah, I've had newspapers think I was actually David Morrissey. So it's all fun. It's great to resemble someone. I could also be Jackson Lake from Doctor Who. So, but yeah, I'm killing time to see if Michonne's gonna get here. But but I do have an announcement to make. I have made a decision regarding my reactions for Fear the Walking Dead because people have been asking about reaction compilations, and I know Johnny is way behind. He's not going to get to Fear for like a year. So I've decided I am not going to do reactions for Fear, even though when at the end of this episode it was so tempting when Strand
Absolutely.
started to act like me. But I am going to be doing reaction compilations, so you'll get a whole bunch on Fandom Spotlight. So, and Erica says I am still the best villain from the show. Thank you so much. Strand has become my apprentice, apparently. though he's got a much more interesting style. So we started off this episode meeting some guy in a gas mask walking around with a Geiger counter, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Is it someone we know? Because we couldn't tell at first. And then it turned out to be no one we know.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, how much time are we going to spend with this, moron before we get to people we care about? But it did tie in. What was your reaction to this guy, Will?
So when it first started, I'm like, did I totally blank out and forget who this person was? Because like you said, we didn't recognize him. We really didn't know who he was.
The cold
kind of
factor.
Followed him around. He's sitting there crying at one point. I'm like, dude, shut up. You're going to get taken out by walkers because you're making all this noise. Yeah, I mean, he was acting kind of like a moron, but
well, I think he was.
It's hard to say just from the one episode.
I think he was acting smart at first, and he had his stuff going on pretty well. But then I think he kind of gave up. I think he was like, so he was ready to be. He saw the biter coming. He's like, the hell with it. Let me get it. And but then some people rescued him and put him through some pretty interesting decontamination. So we saw the people who were killing biters and taking their clothes. I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't know why they were stealing biter clothes. Hopefully we'll find out. And we thought at first maybe the people rescuing Will, as we later came to know him as, were maybe the same people, but they turned out to be Victor Strand's little group there. I just wonder how long it's been since, since the bombs went off. Yeah, it had to be months, but it's like he built up a lot. It was just Howard in that building, and now he's got all these people doing yoga, and, he's got quite the little resort there, growing food, electricity, all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's impressive, but it had to take him a while to build that up.
Right.
And I gotta say, Howard seemed a little taken aback right after the bombs went off. And now he seems to be so on board with Strand, it's like, I wonder if, he's got a crush on him. I have no idea, but could be. Phyllis does not want...
It's definitely hard to say, how long it's been. Hopefully we'll figure it out. Yeah. Do we know, how far away this whole area was from the explosion, too? That's another question I kind of had.
It had to be, relatively far away, or else it would have been vaporized. And the shockwave would have hit, but then apparently the winds and the weather kept the fallout from, infecting the building and contaminating the air. But yeah, it's really hard to say. Phyllis says that she doesn't want Strand to be a bad guy.
Well, too bad. He is.
I mean, Strand is Strand. I wouldn't hesitate. No bad guy thinks they're the bad guy. But then
I will say, look at Negan from the original show. I mean, he came on as a big bad guy, and now he's kind of good, I guess.
Well, Negan was never a bad guy in his mind. He was doing what needed to be done. Strand is ruthlessly practical. He is surrounding himself with people to basically buffer him from shit happening. So he is basically, I don't think he gives a shit about anyone except maybe Howard. And even then, I don't even think so. Strand cares about Strand and apparently, for some reason, Alicia. So that was the whole point of this episode, is he still wanted to find out what happened to Alicia. but now he kind of wants to keep everybody away. Yeah, he's a messed up dude, but he has his own agenda, and he's never really changed. He's just become more Strand. Let's see. So Cleo says she thinks Will said 50 days. I think it was 50 days since he got kicked out of the bunker. So maybe, yeah, that would be 2 months. It could be at least 3 months. And Joe Fulfer says Negan wasn't a bad guy from his perspective. No, well, he wasn't.
Are bad guys ever bad guys in their mind, though? Honestly.
Yeah, the governor, they call me a villain. I'm not a villain. I was doing what I had to do to protect my town. Now, you might be, well, you killed off the National Guard. But I've had run-ins with National Guardsmen who thought that they could take over because they were military and basically created hell for all the residents of Woodbury. That's why I took over Woodbury from National Guardsmen. So I wasn't going to deal with that shit again. They might be grateful, and then they're going to come in and say, well, what actual authority do you have? And then they're going to be like, well, we're military, we're going to take over. And then next thing you know, they're, scrubbing their ass cracks for them. I ain't going through that shit. So I wasn't a villain. Yes, I had a little bit of anger issues and, but Machond killed my daughter. So that's a little traumatic. I could be forgiven a little bit, But anyway, yeah, Howard drank the Kool-Aid, Karina says. I definitely think he did.
Oh, for sure.
So, speculation. What the hell happened to Alicia? Apparently, she found a way out. She was locked in there by Teddy. In that bunker. Which was really nice digs. I mean, you look at that. Apparently, there was already somebody there. The senator and a couple of his aides were already living there for years? That was kind of weird. And then they got some new tenants, Teddy's people and Alicia. What do you think caused that to happen? Why do you think she left?
I mean, it's really kind of hard to say, but I mean, just thinking back, it's like maybe she's actually seen how nuts this guy can be. I mean, I personally don't think I could hang around with Teddy very often for very long either. And then she's got the other people that she has to think about and get back to if they're still there. That's why I think she left.
So you think she just found a way out and said, fuck it, let's get out of here?
Somehow, yeah.
But all of Teddy's people that were hiding down there, I mean, Teddy, we don't got to worry about him. The one good thing that friggin' Dakota did before she turned into a crispy...
True.
Krispy Kreme, was to kill Teddy, so we don't have to worry about him. Alicia didn't want the job of being the new leader. So I could see her resisting that, and as soon as they could figure out a way out, she got out. I mean, obviously where she was locked in had to be a hallway, because, and not just like a room, because then she would have starved to death, and Teddy's plan would have been for naught. So she was locked in with all his people. And yeah, I wonder, did they accept her as leader? There's a lot of questions that we need to have answered about this.
And do we ever really... Because I haven't actually watched Fear since it first aired, so I kind of forgotten some of the things. I'm just wondering, would some of his people want to take, leadership from this woman that's not actually one of them, and that I could see some of the guys being a little off put by, oh, she's a girl, maybe she shouldn't be in charge.
That is true. I mean, I imagine that Teddy tried to make it clear that Alicia was to be their leader in the new beginning. But I do think that some of his followers, a lot of them were, fucking nuts. So devoted to their cult leader that they'd probably do anything for him. But you got to figure there's probably a couple people who were just not as converted and just wanted to, survive, and found that joining him was a good way to do that. And yeah, I could see a couple guys being like, I ain't listening to this bitch, and, trying to take over, and then they'd probably get killed because Alicia's no joke.
And then maybe, one of them could have kidnapped her and put her somewhere else, but we don't know yet, a lot of questions still.
Absolutely. So Rebecca said, this is cool, just pop it in. She's got to catch up on Fear, and then she'll join the next live chat. Yeah, we're going to be... we're going to be doing this throughout Fear, and then I guess once Fear reaches episode 8, mid-season finale, we'll have a little bit of a break before the main show comes back. All right, so Will meets Strand. Strand's got a new wardrobe. What do you think of that? I mean, I think he's always had a flair for the dramatic.
For sure. I mean, it's Strand, so... I mean, of course he's gonna dress the way he dresses.
He's always been a shop dresser.
Yeah, I mean, I really had no words for it. I was just like, oh, this guy's back. And I mean, he's always been really questionable because, like we've said, we kind of put him in that villain zone. And I'm just going to shout out to Mama here, because in case she's actually watching these at a later time, we miss you, and we know that you're a big Strand fan. So I'm sure that you wish you could be here with us talking about Fear tonight. But yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's, dressing a little bit more sharp now to look more professional, make people take him more seriously type of deal too.
Well, he's always been a snappy dresser. Now he's in this like military-ish uniform, carries a sword, acts like the king. I mean, he's like in his element. He's there on the roof. He's like, strawberries. I think they're growing their own food. Someone said, skipping to the end,
okay.
They set up the beacon, and that's drawing in all the biters around the building, and they can't get in, but it's definitely going to keep people from getting into the building very easily. Unless, Negan and Maggie show up in their styling whisper masks and decide to navigate. But with the whole time jump thing, I have no idea where it is. And,
right.
But
that would be a nice little tie-in, though, I will say.
Yeah, it's like, how did you get in here? Well, shit. I got this mask. Yeah, I can't really do a Negan impression. But I can't even do a Strand impression.
I still want to figure out, obviously we know that when they put the guts and blood on their clothes, it kind of masks the smell. And I know that we've talked about the whisper mask before. They can't smell very nice because it's actual human skin.
Right, cured though, so it's almost like leather.
I can't say I'm completely on the train of wearing somebody else's face as a good way to not be cinched by the walkers, I guess. So,
Well, I mean, luckily we're not facing that choice right yet. Give it a
right.
little bit of time. There are those who say the zombie apocalypse is inevitable. Um, but I have to say, they're very inconsistent. I mean, just putting on a mask and walking like the dead
Yeah,
without the smell, I mean, Glenn and Rick were able to cover themselves with bite guts and, walk with the dead and be ignored. If there wasn't for screaming, they all would have gotten away with it in Alexandria, too.
absolutely.
Um, Connie just used it to escape the wrath of the walkers, biters, romas, radas. They're called so many friggin' things. But yeah, the it's inconsistent because putting on a mask but still being in like normal clothes, you know, and not putting the guts on you, they should smell the human flesh. They should still come
Exactly.
after you. So I think they're a little inconsistent, but we have to suspend our disbelief. Um,
True.
but whispers are in the other show. This show we have Strand. Someone said he's living his best life. Karina said that. Joyful.
I mean, I agree with
Said
you. You're
correct.
not wrong.
He's
He
like, yeah.
definitely is.
But then he decides to leave his sanctuary to go see if he can find Alicia. And then they get attacked by the what do they call? What did he call them? The stalkers?
I think that's what he said.
Yeah, the stalkers. They would sneak up on the dead and steal their clothes, which is really weird. I mean, just go to Goodwill. You can get a lot there. And then there's a big fight. He loses all his people. Um, Gets to this lighthouse. I don't know why there's a lighthouse there. I didn't see any ocean. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't catch the ocean either. So,
but I mean, how far could he have made it from where the sub was beached near Galveston? So I guess maybe. Who knows? It's really weird. Or was a lighthouse on a lake that got dried out? There's a lot going on. This is a wasteland. I'm wondering how everyone is surviving.
okay, so here's my theory. Maybe after the explosion, the water evaporated. So now there's your lighthouse or the lake. I don't know how you want to call it. So the lighthouse on the lake is no more. I don't know.
That could be it. It was interesting when it was raining that, Will was like, we got to get out of the rain. Because I thought water was a good way to get rid of radiation. So
I honestly have no idea. So
I have a little bit of scientific knowledge, but if anyone's out there who knows more about it than I, would the rain help dissipate the radiation or would it make it worse?
again, I'm gonna say that I would be one of the first people to die once the zombie apocalypse actually happens. But I guess I'm okay with that. So
I think I would survive a little while. I don't know. I mean, I have all kinds of weapons just in case. So, that is my official zombie killing blade
awesome.
with the window breaker and everything. I think I would survive for a while, but, and I think I'd get in real good shape real quick. That is one hell of an exercise program, running from the biters.
That's very true, and I can imagine it would be a hell of a diet for you too, because
Yeah.
you're constantly on the run.
Yep, my year's supply of Twinkies will only last a year, so, I don't have a year's supply of Twinkies, and I'm only saying that so no one raids my house after it happens. Yeah, it's like, Alpha and Beta only wore masks. Donnie and Daryl and Connie wore masks to rescue Henry and Lydia. They weren't trying to fool the dead. So yeah, it's hard to say about that part. So going through this episode, Strand decides, not to kill. They seem to have a little bit of a truce at the lighthouse where Will admits that he was with Alicia. He knew all about Strand. And he saves Strand's life. Only a little while later, after they get back to, his tower of power, we'll call it, on the roof. And I'm like, as soon as I saw them on the roof, I'm like, I have a feeling that Will's going to go for a little test flight and end up crashing. And yeah, lo and behold, Strand threw him off the edge. I thought that was quite smooth. That kind of warmed my heart a little bit. But yeah, it was a interesting thing to see. I know Strand is ruthless. I mean, he shot Daniel in the face. He'll do anything to save himself. Howard drank the Kool-Aid, as someone said. He is totally on board with whatever Victor does. Yeah, he's got a nice little setup there. And yeah, I gotta wonder if Strand is also collecting, I guess in his case it would be husbands. Kind of like Negan collected wives. Could be.
I could see it.
Or if Howard is his lover. You never know. I mean,
we're not here to judge.
Any port in a storm, they say. And, we already know that Strand is at least bi, if not gay. I'm getting the impression. Right. I have to admit, I did not watch all of Fear the Walking Dead. I kind of skipped around and I watched all of season 5. And I will accept your condolences for watching season 5. Oh my God. I watched season 6, which was much better. And I watched season 1. I watched a little bit of season 2. I have to go back and fill in all the gaps. So
I've watched all of season 6 and maybe the last 2 episodes of season 5. That's as far as I've seen. So
all right. So we are not.
I'm right there with you.
Where the hell is Machond? She's supposed to be helping us out here. She is the big Strand fan. Phyllis says Strand didn't have to kill Will. I agree. He didn't.
He wanted to. He's that kind of guy.
Well, I think talking about Alicia made him uncertain in his, godlike abilities. So I think that it was a reminder to him. So he wanted to get rid of the reminder. But yeah. Cleo says
maybe he wants to go in and get the take over Teddy's old group. Maybe that's the deal there that he's so nuts about.
I don't know. One thing that concerns me about this season is the land is so inhospitable.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be watching people slogging through the most boring terrain ever with, hazmat suits on? I mean, I gotta say, watching Will in the beginning of this episode, it's like, is this the whole season going to be like this? Because this is going to kind of suck.
Absolutely.
I miss the whole, ability to, see people walking around without wearing masks. I'm not making a political statement here. Don't take it that way. I'm talking about full face gear. I'm talking about, full hazmat suits. It's going to be difficult. But Karina says that, yeah, thinking about Alicia makes him feel soft. Love is a weakness to him, indeed.
Mm.
Cleo says he's gay. He's only been with his lover. Wasn't Cole his lover?
I thought it was Cole too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Again, I didn't watch all those episodes. I have to go back and watch them.
And then, yeah, again, maybe he just takes on more than one lover too. Who knows? I'm not, you know.
Hey, polyamorous relationships exist. But as far as I'm aware, he was pretty much just with Cole, from what I heard, through the grapevine.
From my understanding, I agree with you on that. Yes.
What he might do now, as the king of his own little castle there, who knows? Karina says, I think they'll move out of the suits during the second half, maybe change locations.
Let's hope so.
Joyful First says, I knew Will was a goner, and I don't care. I still like Strand. I'm not saying I don't like Strand. I don't trust Strand. If I was alive, came across him, I would not trust the man. Especially in that getup.
Right.
But I think I'd probably join his people, and then I would take over his group. I have a tendency, to want to do that. I would do that to Negan if I had joined the Saviors, anything. Let's see. Yes, Thomas Abigail. Okay. Was that one of his lovers? I have no idea. Like I said, I have to go back and watch some of this stuff. Now, what's interesting, Maggie Grace's name is no longer on the credits.
Correct.
But Coleman says that he's seen her on set, so she's in it. Maybe she's not a regular anymore.
That would be my guess.
Maybe she's going to show up in the Rick movies,
Ooh.
Or I have not been watching the World Beyond, so I have to go back.
Neither have I. Let's be honest about that.
Yep.
I kind of tried to sit there, like, was it 2 weeks ago, to watch the next one that came right after The Walking Dead, and I couldn't do it. So.
Yeah, I just haven't had the time, and I got to say AMC Plus sucks if you have it directly from AMC. Because I have the app, the AMC Plus app. It's not through Prime. It's not through your, cable provider. It's not through anything like that. It's just right through them. A great discounted deal, and it doesn't allow me to stream it to my TV.
Oh.
Which is like the stupidest. I could watch it on my computer screen. I could watch it on my phone. But I don't want to do that. I want to go to my living room.
Right.
And watch it from there. And what I end up doing, even though I legally can watch it, is I download the episodes and then I stream them to my TV. So.
Now, I have it through Prime. And I get a few extra channels because I do it that way. I also get the Sundance channel, which...
And Shudder? Or was that
and Shudder. Yeah, I believe it's Shudder.
I'm supposed to have those too through my app, but I can't stream it to my TV. It is the stupidest app. But the AMC Premiere app, you could stream to your TV.
Okay. Interesting.
But I can't use AMC Premiere anymore because they've ended that program. And
Come on, AMC, get it together, you guys. I mean, really. Still love you, though.
Joyful First says, World Season 2 is better than Season 1, which was a yawn fest. I can believe it.
Is it really,
could get much
was
worse.
It really hard to be... that's like a really low bar, I would say, to be better than. So.
Yeah, low bar, definitely. It's like saying, Highlander 3 was better than Highlander 2.
I'm definitely gonna try to once it gets to like the point where it's at the mid-season finale, I'm gonna sit there and try to binge through it though. World Beyond, just hopefully to kind of get the story moving, so I can just get the whole thing at one sitting.
I hear you. So Joyful First says, yeah, it's stupid. I canceled and got mine through Prime. Tell them to cancel and they lower your price. I may have to yell at them and say, look, your app is useless. I'm going to cancel, and maybe they'll do something and say, look, here's a special discount code to get it through Prime or something. Thing is, I still had leftover time with AMC Premiere, so I'm not actually paying for AMC Plus until like May. So it's like,
Yeah, and the fact that like you said Premiere's no more, that's really dumb if you still have it for that amount of time.
Well, what they did was they switched Premiere over to Plus and said, "Oh, we're just going to switch you over to Plus."
Well, then they should just switch you over to Plus automatically. Then let's be honest about that.
Yeah, they did. I have AMC Plus, but I can't fucking stream.
I got you. Okay.
The app doesn't allow me to stream, so now I have to go and download things that I can watch legally. I use torrents, and then just hey Miss Kayla, and then just like use video stream to like send it to my TV.
Okay, I got you now.
Jack had to work late, so he's probably not gonna even show up at the end. And Machond is MIA. I sent her the invite. Did she forget?
She was too close to the explosion, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I sent her a message through Twitter. I'm gonna.
She might be in traffic. I mean, that's a very good possibility.
Yep. Taylor from last week hasn't watched Fia yet, so this would have been a very confusing conversation for her. Almost as confusing for me. Yeah, Karina, I don't know where they are. I apologize. I sent them the invites. They were supposed to know. Also, I have been trying to get in touch with the underdog, Mr. Williams, who invited him back, and he has not responded to my emails. I don't know if I'm going to spam or if suddenly he decided that, he doesn't like the governor anymore, or, did I give him a bad look with my one eye? I have no idea. I hope I didn't offend him in some way. If I did...
If you're watching, we miss you, buddy.
Yeah, if I did offend, it's totally unintentional. So, reach out. Let's resolve it if there's an issue. And if there's no issue, just check your email, man, because we would like to have you back. Yeah, it didn't seem that it was like a full episode. It only concentrated on Strand and his crew. It was like, not that much happened. It's like...
Exactly, and that's why this conversation's a little on the short side.
Yeah.
Because not a lot actually happened this episode.
I mean, Will's out there. He gets found by Strand's people. He meets Strand. Strand says, hey, look at this medal that I gave to Alicia. What are you doing with it? Let's go, and they end up going back and found out Alicia's gone. I mean, they planted some seeds, but it was just like, after watching the finale, the last couple episodes of Walking Dead, where there was so much packed in there, so much going on, so much with the Commonwealth switching back and forth, the attack on the on Meridian in the last episode, plus the storm ravaging Alexandria. There was a lot going on, and you had multiple things, and here we just had Strand. It felt Like, not a lot happened in this episode. I'm not saying it
I
was bad.
right. I really do hope that we find out what happened to Alicia a lot sooner than we actually finally found out about what happened to Connie, because that took a long time for us to figure out on the other show. So hopefully that will be resolved on the Fear side a lot quicker.
Yeah. Hopefully. Ninja Adventures 18, good to see you too.
Fingers crossed.
Karen liked Will right off. Too bad he's gone. Yeah, he seemed like a decent guy. I mean, he didn't have a lot of skills from the before time to translate, but he seemed to be doing okay. Joyful First says, how does everyone know how to survive a nuclear blast? Well, Will had a book. Grace maybe taught them some, but what about everybody else? Queen said, I know we're not talking spoilers, but really enjoyed episode 2. I will be watching episode 2 very shortly.
I almost watched episode 2 because, again, I just came back from Chicago. So I was a little, sleep deprived and disoriented. And I'm like, wait, did they air a 2-hour premiere that I need to watch? And then I realized, oh, yeah, they're releasing the episode a full week in advance, like they did with The Walking Dead. So I did not watch it. I was a good child.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of good and kind of bad. But yeah, I have to collect all the reactions now for 701 because compilations will be back. Portrait of a Lady says we might see Will again in flashbacks. Maybe, but I don't think he had that much of an impact. He didn't have time to have that much of an impact. So we might see a flashback to
in the
Alicia.
way of how he got the necklace or whatever that was.
Yeah.
But other than that, probably not.
Renee says, Governor, cut your hair. Funny story, that. I actually booked an appointment. It's going to be next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, you will see this hair a little more trimmed down. I went to this.
Tell him that.
What's that?
He's going to be cosplaying Eugene next. Come on, let's make it happen.
I'm not going to cosplay Eugene. I did play him on stage at Walker's Circle Atlanta.
Awesome.
Renee says, "Are you coming back to TWD?"
Eventually, but not right now.
If you're talking about the reactions, I will be doing reactions when Walking Dead returns in February. The puppet will be back. Anyone who doesn't like the puppet, then he says that to you. So I'll be coming back and doing reactions for the Walking Dead main show. This may be the last season I do reactions. After that, I just might be, since it's the last season of The Walking Dead, after that, I might just do compilations and occasional specials and stuff like that. Just so much going on. And hopefully next year will be even more filled with content this year has been. So,
fingers crossed. Wear your masks, people.
Yeah, get vaxxed. I mean, the science is there. Just don't listen to Milton, because Milton didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. That's why he's dead now. But, yeah. Hopefully next year, a lot more cons. Unfortunately, probably the only Fan Expo one I'll do is Philadelphia. But, yeah, hopefully a lot will be happening next year with cons. And we have some new Fandom Spotlight series coming out. Yeah, fellow says Strand got a lot of people to follow him since the explosion. And I agree. This is, like, amazing. And the fact that they were doing fucking yoga. Really? I mean, yes, it's good for exercise. It's good to keep you flexible. But it's like, it looked more like a spa than, a survival area. So it's like, yeah, come on, have a vacation, do some yoga. You get some really nice brandy or, scotch or whatever. Hang out on the roof deck and, go swimming in our all-nude pool. Whatever they're doing. But it's It seemed more like a spa than a community. But never know. I mean, exercise is important. So,
Especially when you live in the zombie apocalypse.
Cleo says Alicia's probably knocked up from Will and hiding out from him. Well, that could be.
That would definitely be a twist, I will say.
With the twist? No, I couldn't see her hiding from anybody because of that. What was the other painter's name? Was his name Will too?
I don't remember.
Because this might be a historic first where, they actually have two characters
have
with
a
the
second
same
person
name.
with the same name.
Because they haven't done that before. Renee says I was very naughty. You want to spank me? Come on, bring it. Be Various says, I hope we don't see flashbacks leading up to Alicia's death, Madison style.
I will be very upset if Alicia dies. I will say that.
Are the people who still think Madison might come back? Renee wears her mask and had the vaccines. Kayla's vaccinated and wears a mask. Cleo says Paul Milton didn't know he was following a psychopath. I am not a psychopath. I am a sociopath. There is a difference. Yoga, playing golf. This is pretty crazy. So Renee's watched Walking Dead 5 times on Netflix. So I guess she gets suggested things like Z Nation and Army of the Dead. I wonder if Strand's Rangers were from Virginia's old outpost. That's possible. He had connections. He might have went out to those communities, if any survived, and, recruited people. Yeah, I mean, that's quite possible. Strand's probably the only one who gets the whiskey. Joey says, I like Will, but I didn't want to get attached, just like the guy who helped Morgan in 601. Isaac.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's like, I think if you're a new character introduced in the season premiere, you have a tendency to die. Isaac died. The bounty hunter, what his name was, somebody tell me his name.
I don't remember. So,
but the bounty hunter died. And he was introduced in that first episode. So, yeah, don't get introduced in the first episode because you have a tendency to die. And they had some delicious looking spaghetti. That was gourmet shit. They had like sliced, I don't know if that was sliced tomato or whatever on that pasta. And it was pretty good because you could see the acting on Will's part was great because he took a mouthful and he just went...
Yeah, he was like hunched over and he was like eating like an animal.
Well, when he first put it in his mouth, he stopped for a minute like he was savoring like, oh my God, I haven't tasted something like this in so long.
Which he probably hasn't, let's be real.
And he was probably like, I think he like came a little bit. And then he tore into it. So, yeah.
I cannot say I would not behave the same way.
No, Wes is the guy.
I had not eaten real food in a very, very long time.
I imagine that'd be the case. Yeah, the other painter guy is Wes. So Will is still okay. With
still a W, though.
Yeah, but, they can repeat letters. They just can't repeat entire names, apparently. Same was Wes. But what was the... Rufus. No, Emil. Emil was the bounty hunter.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah, I would have never remembered that in a million years.
Yeah, cherry tomatoes in the pasta. I mean, how are they getting the seeds for this stuff? It's pretty amazing, that they can just... I gotta admit, the Walking Dead universe, they don't actually... Like, the food situation changes from episode to episode. Like, Alexandria's out of food. But before that, when you looked at all the saviors that Negan had, and they were apparently surviving off of Hilltop and the Kingdom because they didn't have Alexandria at first. They were surviving off of what they stole from them, and those communities were still able to survive. No, I think they tend to overlook some stuff.
And you would think with them being all one group, basically, that they would share too. So with the Kingdom and Hilltop and Alexandria, when needed, of course.
Yeah, I think they were scavenging. I think they had other sources, but Renee says she can't give me a spanking. And what's the use? What's the use? Yeah, cherry tomatoes.
Not a big fan of those myself.
Done says bring back Madison. What's that? What was that?
Oh, cherry tomatoes. I'm not a big fan of cherry tomatoes myself.
I'm not a big fan of tomatoes. When I get a Whopper, I'm like, skip those tomatoes. It's just, I like ketchup though.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what it is.
It's the
I
texture
love spaghetti
and the
sauce. I love ketchup, but real tomatoes, no.
Yeah, tomato sauce, pizza. But yeah, in their raw form, I don't like the consistency. Day of the Dead is out on Sci-Fi. Yeah, where are Ginny's other outposts? That's a good question. Strand apparently knew, and he went and he gathered the best of the best. You know, people who are really good at yoga and cooking. You know, because that's what he needed.
I mean, cooking is an important skill.
They use red blood like candy and sausage those long links. I guess that's the guts that they're using.
Okay.
Renee doesn't eat fast food no more. It's all right. I had some Long John Silvers,
I haven't had Long John Silvers in so long. I miss those hush puppies.
I had 2 tonight, so you can be very jealous. The woman wanted Taco Bell, and it was a Long John Silver's Taco Bell combo. So I had some stuff. Well, we are closing in on our hour, and amazing that we could fill the time with just the two of us. I will find out what happened with Machond, because yeah, that is a little disappointing. I even tried to invite John Glover, and I don't think he got my message in time. I invited him like right before we started, so.
And if you've noticed, that's why I was very, very careful of how I spoke about Teddy, because like, wait, is he going to pop in right as I'm talking about him? But thankfully, no.
I think John is quite aware of separating his characters from himself. He is not. Yeah, if you ever meet John Glover, he is not nearly
like
as crazy.
Some Walking Dead fans out there.
What's that?
So it's not quite like some of the Walking Dead fans out there that can't separate the actor from the role.
You always seem to be able to separate. I mean, there are occasions you meet the actor and you're like, I wish you were more like a character because you're an asshole. But those are rarities. That does happen.
I will say, if everybody in the Walking Dead universe that I have met have all been wonderful people.
Well, yep, I can't say that, but most of the people I've met from The Walking Dead have been wonderful people. Some have been a trifle rude. It could have just been they had a bad day. But, you know, could be they're upset about their C series not working out. I'm not saying who that is, but actually it was before that happened. But, yeah. Machond was supposed to be here, so everyone go on social media and yell at Machond for not showing up.
Tell her that Tuesdays are for the dead.
Exactly. Yeah, she was on the panels all for Fear and for, you know, regular Walking Dead for a while now, so she was supposed to be here. Jack got stuck at work. He let me know. He's got an excuse.
It's a good excuse. Let's be real.
It's an unfortunate thing. Yeah, Yeah,
But
Norman
it happened.
Reedus is nice. I haven't like met him much, but my few encounters, he seemed like a nice guy. Um, I'd have a beer with him if he drinks.
I actually talked to somebody at Wizard World while I was on my break, and she said that she found a place outside to kind of take when she was taking her break to have a smoke, like a few years ago.
And
And
Norman
then
was
Norman
there.
Reedus poked his head out and asked if he can join them. So she got to have a smoke with Norman Reedus back in the day.
Oh yeah, I walked out when he was walking in from having a smoke. So yeah, I'm right there. Yeah, that's why he's so happy that now he can, smoke on the show again.
Mm.
But that's probably going to come to an end. I don't think Pope's going to be providing him many more cigarettes now that he's dead. AMC The Walking Dead done says, what's the future for everyone after TWD comes to a close? I think I'm going to move into, for those reactors who are still reacting to stuff, and they're reacting to the Daryl and Carol show and all that, I'll probably do more compilations. But we have a lot of plans for Fandom Spotlight, for other things. Plus, we're doing a lot of a lot of con coverage and stuff like that. Plus, Toy Spotlight's growing, so got lots of toys to review.
As for me, we'll
Vivian,
see get together, but I am planning to do like a cooking segment for you guys at Fandom Spotlight. Out of many of my collection of nerdy little cookbooks that I am starting to collect. One of them, which is the Walking Dead cookbook. And then, we'll get that started here soon, and that's something you could probably look forward to in the coming months.
So think Fandom food. That's going to happen. Portrait of a Lady says, I'm talking about Lauren Cohen. I did not say that name.
He did not say that name. I will say that.
That's all I'm saying. All right. You guys want to hear the story? Let me know in the chat if you want to hear about my less than wonderful experience with Lauren Cohen. And I'm not going to say that she's a horrible person. I'm going to say that at the moment in time that I met her, it was not a great experience for me. So, who wants to know? Vote in the chat, and I will tell the story if enough people want to know. As Kayla does mention, there are spin-offs coming. Depending on, who knows, maybe for the Tales of the Walking Dead, those are going to be interesting with stories going all over the place. I might come back and do reactions if that's good enough, but I'm not going to.
I really hope that we see more of the governor's story in that segment. Because there's that book.
Rise of the Governor. Yep. David is very willing to do it. Okay, we got go for it. Yes, I want to hear it. Please do tell. Spill. It's not. It was just a moment of rudeness. See, I went to Waka Stalker, London. Not someplace. I decided to go to Waka Stalker, London. I'd never been to London before, so I wanted to check it out. And I went there, and David was there, which was great. Met some London fans. It was awesome. And I saw Lauren Cohen's line. And it was not that long. And I'm like, I've never met her. I don't have a photo. I don't have an autograph. So I'm like, and I'm dressed as the guy who killed her, on-screen dad. So, I might as well go up and say sorry about your dad, because I did that for Emily. I did, I've apologized to Herschel directly. May Scott rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Scott Wilson. Yep.
So I got into line and waited, and and so I get there, and she's sitting behind the table, and I pay however many pounds it was. It wasn't cheap for her autograph. And she's sitting behind the table, and there's some dude next to her. I don't know if it was her agent or what, but she's chatting with him while I'm standing there. And I said, sorry about your dad. And she's like, excuse me? I'm the governor. Sorry about your dad. Oh, signs, hands me my thing. Doesn't actually, engage. Doesn't say, oh, nice costume. Doesn't say, well, thank you for being a fan. Doesn't, I just gave her X amount of money. But she's too busy talking with this guy next to her to acknowledge the people who are shelling out, probably the equivalent of like 75, 80 US in pounds to her. So it was just very irritating. And at that moment, I was just like, I was just not pleased with Miss Cohan's, behavior. It's like, you can at least, if I'm giving you money, you can at least acknowledge me with more than a, oh, yeah, hi, here you go. Part of the experience, I'm not just there to get your signature on a picture. I'm there to, interact and say hi, get anything. There have been so many other actors from The Walking Dead who have been much nicer, much more pleasant, engaged, talked about stuff, not fishing for compliments, but I've gotten lots of compliments on my cosplay. I have to say that Josh McDermott, one of the most fun guys ever.
Absolutely.
And
he was the first person in the fandom that I met when I went to my first convention. And, I think he knew I was probably very nervous because I have never done that type of thing before. And he said, I gave him my money to take my, some pictures. I did the selfies with him. And, he had his arm around me the whole time, took a few pictures, kept his arm around me, looked through him and goes, that one's my favorite. And it was actually a really good picture.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I think he wrote on the autograph, which I have my book of autographs right here. Actually, that's not it. This is the book of autographs. It's thicker. Let's see. Where's my Walking Dead people? There's my photo op with, you can't really see it.
Yeah.
There's Rick on there. You'll just have to believe me. I got Enid. I got Rooker. I got
Rooker
David.
Is a riot.
I got David a bunch. I got Scott, who is obviously an awesome guy. Here he is. To Governor Kyle, you're so charming, yet you scare the crap out of me. That's what he wrote. A great personalized autograph from Josh McDermott. So, if I look in here for Lauren Cohen, which I obviously paid for it, so I wasn't going to...
It just says Lauren Cohan on it.
It says, Dear Governor Kyle, signed. Because I wrote down, what I wanted to have it personalized as. So I wrote Governor Kyle. So she put Dear Governor Kyle, and signed it. But
well, that's nice that she at least did that.
Yeah, she did the minimum for me giving her a bunch of money.
Correct.
I mean, again, I realize she might have been having a bad day. She might have been preoccupied with other stuff, some other news. There could be reasons. I don't know why she was so inattentive to me as a fan. And if she was that way to other fans, that day. But it just seemed to me to be, if it was not an emergency, then I thought it was extremely rude. But Scala says Michael Rooker flirted with her. Of course.
Michael Rooker flirts with everybody. Let's be honest.
He tried to shove his fingers in my mouth.
Okay. You know what? I 100% believe you. Because I have had a few encounters with Mr. Rooker One of them being this past weekend. Absolutely lovely. And yeah, I mean, it's Michael Rooker. There's nothing else you can really say about him other than that.
He met the puppet too.
Oh,
Up at
did you like the
Terrificon.
puppet?
He liked the puppet.
Nice.
And he shoved his fingers in the puppet's mouth. The puppet had to brush his teeth for like years. Anyways, we run into overtime. I'm sorry that our other guests did not appear. Hopefully next week I will find out what happened with Machond. Everyone who knows her, send her, give her grief on social media. Hi, Lonnie. We're about to end. You're tuning in now? Have to watch the replay. But, yeah, everyone give Machond a bunch of crap for not showing up. She sometimes forgets what day it is. Or she might have forgotten that we actually do Fear as well. But, yeah. So, anyways,
I hope that we weren't entertaining enough for you people out there watching.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Jaz, final thoughts and shameless self-promotion.
Final thoughts. I'm really excited to see where the rest of the season's going to go. I mean, last season really knocked it out of the park, so I kind of have some pretty high standards for this season, which is probably a bad thing, but we'll see. You can find me over at Rose City Widow on Instagram. Follow my choir, Vancouver Master Chorale. We will be going to perform at the Carnegie Hall in March if everything goes well. Wear your masks, get your vaccines. Don't, let the country shut down again, for the love of God, please. And also follow the Honeybees Acapella Singing on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. As you know, I am the governor. Yes, I killed Herschel. I had a bad day. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying, there are some things, if I could take it back, I'd probably do that. But, we still need like a what if Walking Dead version. That would be cool.
Absolutely. That would be fun.
Ponder the question, what if? But,
and then Ross can do the voiceover for it because, he does voiceover work too, which is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, Ross could be half the characters. He could be Rick. He does a really good Rick. But, so as I said, I am not going to be doing reactions as the governor for Fear this season. We will be doing these panels, and I will be putting together reaction compilations. So you will see everybody else, your favorites like The Underdog, Mr. Williams, and Katie O'Shaughnessy, and, everybody else, Jack, and even Steven, and all those guys will be in the compilations, provided, of course, they make reaction videos. So that will be coming out. Tune in tomorrow for VCR Redux. They have, they're talking about leprechauns. So, in keeping with our scary movie theme this month. And, yeah, they'll be at 9, so same bat time. And, yeah, we got some more stuff coming. We're hitting TFCon this weekend, so you'll get some voice actor panels. And if you follow Toy Spotlight, there'll be some more stuff coming before and after the convention. So, yeah. Batman Big Fan says, what if the governor was nice? I am nice, you fucking asshole. Damn it.
He was pretty good to his people that were true to him. Let's be honest.
But you fail me in battle, I'm going to gun you down like dogs. Miss Kayla says her birthday is on Halloween. So is May. Maiden from Fandom Spotlite. Her birthday's on Halloween. So happy birthday early to Miss Kayla. We'll be having a party here, and we'll raise a glass to you. AMC The Walking Dead Dunn says, grow a beard and cosplay as Teddy. That would be fun, but I don't think I have the physique for it. But, yeah. Anyways, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. And everybody out there, just have fun, follow your fandom, Governor, and Jaz out.